Alright, budget magic time. Playing some blue-red summonings in Modern. And this hand is questionable. I wish we had like a Thought Scour or something to get going. But we have an Electrolyze. We have the combo of Logic Knot and Summonings. Plus our opponent's mulliganing, so I think that's fine. 4 is for our opponent. And Nettle Sentinel. Elves feels like it should be a good matchup, just because we have so much removal, but it really depends on how explosive our opponent's hand is. Opponent gets in with Nettle Sentinel, down to 18. Yup. Plays a Forest, and Elvish Visionary, untapping the Nettle Sentinel. Okay. Draws a card. Our opponent's also on the mull to 5 on the play, which means their hand should be less explosive than some elf hands. Play a Mountain, pass the turn. So hopefully we just remand something, most likely. I guess it depends on what our opponent plays. Opponent gets in with both, down to 15. If we remand this turn, we can leave up Logic Knot and Electrolyze next turn. So down to 15. Another Nettle Sentinel. Okay, that's actually not worth remanding, because our opponent will just recast it. Maybe it still is. We could draw into a Bolt. That's a lot of damage. Alright, we'll let it go. This is a little scary. No more 1-drops. Not a Bolt. Well, let's play a Mountain. Pass the turn. We're probably going to need to start killing things. Opponent goes to combat. Hits us down to 10. Yup. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Let's Electrolyze a Nettle Sentinel. Draw a Remand. Play an Island. Pass the turn. Leave up Remand, Ravings, and so forth. Getting close to the Summonings. One more land. Opponent finds a Cavern. That makes our counters much worse. Has an Archdruid. Well, I think we're going to remand that just to draw a card. Unfortunately, if we don't draw removal, we're actually just dead to that. Good news is we get to Desperate Ravings. Thought Scour is not removal. Discarded another remand. Cavern was the perfect land draw for our opponent. If we could have remanded the elf, we would have been able to play Summonings. Well, we need to Thought Scour ourselves. We actually have to draw something now. And then Desperate Ravings. Play an Island. Serum Visions. Bottom and bottom. Bolt the Archdruid. Pass the turn. So this is it. If our opponent has another Archdruid, we're dead. And they probably have a lot of 3-drops, considering they were stuck with cards in hand. Yup. Alrighty then. Well, that is too bad. Well, we get Is It Staticasters. We get Angers of the God. Maybe even Roasts. Go down Mana Leaks. Go down Remands. And go down a Temporal Trespass and try it like that. That was very disappointing, considering our opponent mulliganed. But we just didn't really draw anything. Alright, I guess we keep this. We can kill stuff. No Sweeper, unfortunately. Shivan Reef and Serum Visions. Island. We probably got to keep Island. We do need more blue mana. Alright, I guess we put both on top. Island on top, Gutshot on top. Pass the turn. Gutshot actually kills a decent amount of stuff from this deck. Guiltleaf Palace for our opponent. And Llanowar Elves. Well, let's play the Mountain. And we are just going to Gutshot for life so we can Desperate Ravings. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. Wow. Okay. Well, Desperate Ravings. That was pretty bad. Deck. Well, play an Island, pass the turn. We discarded our Roast and we drew 3 lands in a row. Ay. Okay. 4 is for our opponent. And Izuri. Well, we're going to need to find removals. Well, that's Desperate Ravings. counters, but no removal. And lands. Well, let's play the island. Thought Scour ourselves. There's Electrolyze. Well, I guess it's wise to just pass the turn. Azuri can't regenerate himself, right? Regenerate another target elf. Okay. So this lets us leave up Logic Knot and then Electrolyze if we don't need to counter something. There's some slight chance that our opponent could draw combo pieces. If they had like Nettle Sentinel, Heritage Druid, they could all of a sudden just combo off. So I think it's better not to risk that. Opponent gets in for 2. Down to 15. Okay, so we're going to let this go. They have Collected Company, must be. We draw land. We play an island. Pass the turn. So we can counter Collected Company with Logic Knot. So counter Collected Company and pass the turn. Opponent gets in with Azuri. Down to 13. Play Shaman of the Pack. Well, 1, 2, 3. Let's just Electrolyze Azuri. Oh, more lands. Alright, take 1 from Shaman of the Pack. We've drawn a lot of lands this game. And no summonings. Down to 12. Well, there's a Bolt. Well, I guess we Lightning Bolt Shaman of the Pack. Play a Mountain. Pass the turn. Leave up the ability to Desperately Rave. Opponent has another Shaman of the Pack. Alright. Pings us for 1. We are going to draw into cantrips eventually, and we have a lot more removal in our deck. Opponent passes, so Desperate Ravings. Draw 2, discard a card. Alright, discard a land, that's good. Serum Visions is fine. There's a Summonings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Well, we have the combo for next turn, so I think we lead on Serum Visions. Bottom Summonings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bottom Shivan Reef. Serum Visions. Draw a Bolt. Put Island to the bottom and Island to the bottom. Play Shivan Reef. Anger the Gods. Get rid of the Shaman of the Pack. Pass the turn. Now we just want to draw into a cantrip for the, not this turn, but the following turn. Our extra turn. Because we get to Summonings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus Temporal Trespass. Make an 11/11. Get an extra turn. And that should be pretty good. But it's better if we have spells to go with it. Opponent plays another Azuri. Okay. And passes. We do get 2 draws at it. Electrolyze is nice. So let's play the Mountain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Metallurgic Summonings. And we got the combo. The Wombo Wombo combo with Temporal Trespass. Ugh, Temporal Trespass. Say that 3 times fast. Now we'll just Temporal Trespass. Make an 11/11. Exile... Anger, Serum Visions, Logic Knot, Serum Visions, and I guess Thought Scour. So get an 11/11, take an extra turn. In our extra turn, we draw Desperate Ravings. Well, let's Lightning Bolt Azuri, get a 1/1, attack for 11, and pass the turn. Opponent passing. Yup. Opponent's not sure what to do. Well, that's Desperate Ravings. Make it 2/2. And then Desperate Ravings. Make another 2/2. So good with the summonings out. I'm guessing our opponent has Collected Company, which is fine. Yeah, there's Collected Company. I don't know if this can win them the game, especially since we have an Anger. Well, we'll see what we have in hand after this flashback resolves. Gonna discard something. Shaman of the Pack. And a Scavenging Ooze. So we dropped to 8. I don't think this saves our opponent, though. Hopefully we still have Anger. I think Anger just wins us the game. Ooh, and a Roast. Okay. Well, now we have all kinds of ways of winning. Well, I think we just anger the gods. This kills a lot of our tokens, but it also wins us the game. So I think that's a fair trade. Well, that went much better. Maybe going down all those counters is a little ambitious because of Collected Company. We have a lot of removal, which is helpful. Staticaster isn't that great. I mean, it's so good in some situations. It really depends. I think we got to go back up Mana Leaks, and we'll go down the Gut Shot. Well, that's another way to kill the turn 1 play, though. Maybe we'll stick with 1 roast. Try it like that for game 3. Being on the draw, I want to make sure I have a way to counter... Oh, dear. This hand would be awesome if we had red mana with the bolts and such, but we got to ship this one. Want to make sure we have a way to counter a Collected Company. Ooh, alright, this is reasonable. We can Gut Shot our opponent's turn 1 play, and then we have Anger to clean things up. There's Heritage Druid. Well, we're just going to... Yeah, I don't think we have to Gut Shot for life. We can just Shivan Reef and Gut Shot this way. Saves us 1 life. We can't let Heritage Druid live. That's how our opponent's deck can get really out of hand on turn 2. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. And a Spellskite. Good against our targeted removal. Well, play an Island. Pass the turn. Not very good against Anger, though. See what our opponent has. Elvish Visionary. Yeah, we're not going to counter Elvish Visionary. We're probably going to go with the risky Desperate Ravings here to start churning through our deck. Hopefully we don't discard... Hopefully we just discard a land, I think. And not Logic Knot or Anger. And it's Logic Knot. Well, I guess if I had to choose between the two, that would be the better one to discard. Let's play Shivan Reef. Pass the turn. It kind of worked out because we drew into a Mana Leak, so we still have a counter available. Opponent plays Nettle Sentinel. Okay. Heritage Druid. Okay. I think this is fine just because we are going to untap an Anger, I think. So our opponent can make mana, but that's not the end of the world. We're actually kind of okay with them playing out their hand here. Nettle Sentinel, Nettle Sentinel. Okay, that can resolve. That doesn't give our opponent more mana yet. Westville Abbey. And Azuri. Well, I think we got to counter Azuri. So Mana Leak Azuri. That would let our opponent regenerate. And then we just untap an Anger. And our opponent's down to 1 card, a Spellskite, and a Westville Abbey. So I think this works out fine. Opponent's out of mana, so they can't keep making mana with Nettle Sentinels. No attacks. That's also good. Ooh, and a Staticaster. Well, we just need to Anger the gods. Play an Island. Pass the turn. Spellskite's still a little bit obnoxious, but not much we can do about it at the moment. It's also a very expensive way to keep things alive, life-wise. Opponent's out of cards. And passes. There's a Summonings. Well, let's flashback Desperate Ravings. There's a Mountain. We did not discard Summonings. What did we discard? Oh, we did discard Summonings, but we drew another one. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent gets in 4-1. Puts us down to 15. Follow-up is another Azuri. Well, 1, 2, Desperate Ravings. Hope for some luck. Don't discard second Summonings. Alright, just a Mountain. Wouldn't mind drawing a land here. There's a land. Alright, so play the Mountain. Play Summonings. Play Serum Visions. Make a 1-1 for blocking. Ooh, draw Bolt. Well, I think we're either winning or losing next turn. Let's put Mana Leak to the bottom and leave Island on top. Pass the turn. So this is it. Our opponent really... They have to kill Metallurgic Summonings this turn. That's what the game has come down to. So they need, like, Court of Calling for Rexage. Opponent draws a land. Alright. So I think we're good now. Anger of the Gods, very good in this matchup. So we can block with our... They can give everything trample. Well, we're just going to force our opponent to do it. So block the elf. Our opponent can tap out, get in some trample damage. But it doesn't kill us. So we take what? A bunch? 9? 8? Down to 6. However, the good news is we untap. We 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so we Lightning Bolt Azuri. Get a 1/1. Opponent can redirect to Spellskite. Opponent redirects to Spellskite. Then we Temporal Trespass. Gotta exile 8. I guess we'll just leave Desperate Ravings. Get an 11/11. Take an extra turn. And we got the combo. Our opponent did not scoop yet, but we also have a... Is it Staticaster as our last card in hand? Which can get rid of the Spellskite. We get an extra turn. And we just shoot down Elvish Mystic. Is it Charm to kill Azuri, get a 2/2. And that should do it. Attack with everything. We can even Desperate Ravings from our graveyard. Put our opponent down to 6, pass the turn. And I feel like we got this pretty locked up now. I don't know what our opponent could possibly draw. I don't think they have sweepers of any kind. And that does it! Whew, well, we're pretty good against creature decks. That was pretty good. Our opponent had the mana combo, but Anger of the Gods and Electrolyze and all that stuff is just pretty good in those matchups. So, whew, sweet!